it's that time of year. The NBA draft is fast approaching, and the Phoenix Suns are still searching for a new head coach, right? Hopefully, the third time will be the charm. And we cannot talk Suns basketball without checking in with our Suns insider, Flex from Jersey. My man, Pots and Pans. Flex, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Oh man, always a pleasure, man. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing awesome, man. Anytime I get to talk hoops with you, it's a good day. You were asking me about the cufflink situation, right?
Yeah.
Well, look, I got a mixed bag here. We got the Indy 500 coming up this weekend, right on Fox. So I had to go with the race car. But if we're
Okay.
talking hoops with you, I got a little basketball stuff for you. So
Look at the
double dip.
versatility. Look at the versatility. I love it.
Exactly. Speaking of versatility, Kevin Durant is a versatile basketball player. Will we get to see that versatility on the court for the Phoenix Suns this year? I know at the end of the season, the word was he's gone, right? Long gone. But now, you hear the new GM and he's talking about, well, maybe he'll stay. To me, it looks like when you're about to buy a car, the car you want, but you're like, well, this other car is pretty good because you don't want to let everybody know what your deal is. What do you think? Is Kevin Durant going to come back next year?
Yeah, if I were a betting man, I would bet that Kevin Durant has played his last basketball game with the Suns. This guy is one of the best basketball players to ever do it. He's incredible. He's still an all NBA talent. But to answer your question, I think at the end of the day, the Suns are in a situation where they got to start to rebuild this thing. And they got to start to kind of set the priorities and the tone of the type of basketball team they are and the team they're going to become. And their best asset is Kevin Durant. So the short answer is I do think Kevin Durant has played his last game with the Phoenix Suns, and I don't expect him back. But it's all circumstantial, Richard. It's all about how do we get better and how do we right this ship. And the best way to do that is to entertain packages for Kevin Durant.
Yeah, yeah. It all makes sense. And I gotta admit, I love the cap, man. Give us a look on that. Look at that. Ooh, wow.
Yeah, we got the flex
Personalized.
on it. That's
Was,
right.
was
We
was
got it
that a
personalized.
gift?
That
Give us a
was.
breakdown.
That was my beautiful wife, always taking care of me somewhere. I think it was around my birthday. She got me this nice cap and she had the flex put into it. So shout out to the wife, man, always looking me out, keeping me fresh to death.
You must have been a good boy that year.
That's right. Always. I always 25 years I've been married, so I gotta be a good boy,
There you go.
man.
Right. If you haven't learned by now, you're in big
That's
trouble, right?
that's right. That's right, brother. That's right. That's right.
Well, a lot of names were in the hat when it came down to picking a head coach for the Phoenix Suns, right? We started with 20. Now it's been narrowed down. Here's a look at some of the guys that are still in the mix. Give us your thoughts on this cast of characters, Flex. What do you think? We're talking to Felix Cruz, my guy, our Suns insider, Flex from Jersey. Well, what do you think?
Oh man, this is an interesting list, man, and I'm going to get right to it. Let's start off with David Fizdale. So, Fizz is a very interesting situation because he's been hanging around the valley for a little bit. He's got familiarity with the organization and the team. I've always loved Fizz behind the scenes, David Fizdale. I've always liked his attention to detail and his way of relating with players and having intimate relationship with the players and being able to be quote unquote a player's coach, but yet stern in a lot of ways. And so Fizdale's a guy that is still hanging around there. And I know people are probably saying, we may not want to do that or vice versa, but I do like Fizz. I think Fizz is a great guy, a great coach, and deserves another opportunity to get another crack as a head coach. With that said, I'm gonna tell you who my favorite guy is.
Okay.
Okay,
Now we're getting to the
my
good stuff.
this is where it's at, and this is if I were a betting man, this is what I would do. This is what I think is potentially this is who I think is the favorite in the clubhouse right now, and it's Johnnie Bryant, assistant head coach with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's 39 years old. He's been around the league for a little bit of time. He's paid his dues on the assistant level. But let's talk about Johnnie Bryant, okay? A guy that started off in Utah with Quinn Snyder, did a lot of really good things with Donovan Mitchell, young Donovan Mitchell, and was part of that Utah team that was knocking on the door for quite some time. He ends up leaving Utah and goes to a place that I know well. A lot of my connections and resources and contacts throughout my years of being in this business are from the New York market, and got a lot of people in that Knick organization. I got a lot of people, Richard, that were very honest with me, was saying, you know what, Coach Thibodeau is the face that you see, but a guy like Johnnie Bryant, when he was here with the Knicks, was a guy that really did a lot of work in player development, a lot of work with the coaches, a lot of strategy and game planning. So he did a lot of work with Jalen Brunson, and that Knick team you're seeing right now compete in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers. Johnnie Bryant has a lot to do with that. But let's continue further. This guy is so good that another dear friend, a guy that I absolutely adore, Kenny Atkinson, a New York guy, a guy that I used to go attend camps in New York when I was an up and coming guard, thinking I could play some ball. You know, so Kenny Atkinson is one of my favorite guys ever as a basketball coach. And Kenny Atkinson said, as soon as I get this job in Cleveland, first guy I'm calling to be my associate head coach is Johnnie Bryant. Johnnie Bryant went there, had the relationship with Donovan Mitchell. They had an incredible season in Cleveland this year. It didn't end the way they wanted, but I think everybody in the NBA world knows that Cleveland Cavaliers are the real deal, and they had the league on notice. And Johnnie Bryant was a tremendous piece of that. So you're talking about a 39-year-old guy that's been under Quinn Snyder, Tom Thibodeau, and now Kenny Atkinson. All very good coaches, all great organizations, all teams that competed at a high level and had championship aspirations. He's a basketball IQ guy that offensively and defensively can do a lot of things. And again, if you're building this team around Devin or Amani Booker and you're resetting the table, there is no better coach on that list than Johnnie Bryant to come here and get the best version of Devin Booker in his prime. So that's my favorite. That's my guy, and I'm taking that to the bank.
And, you know, it's interesting because once you said his name, the first thing you said after his name, Johnnie Bryant, you said 39 years old. And that seems to fit a mold of what the Suns are looking for, right? A young, energetic coach, a guy that can build a program from the ground up. You look at the NBA today, that seems to be the mold, right? You got, you know, Fernandez, he's 42 years old. Joe Mazzulla, 36 with Boston. Fernandez in Brooklyn. Will Hardy with the Jazz, 37. JJ Redick, 40 years old. So it seems like he kind of checks off some boxes.
Absolutely. You could not have said, and you mentioned the word just now, you said program. And that's what they're doing. The Phoenix Suns are trying to create an identity and a program. And this is a 39-year-old coach that is not far removed from actually doing it, Rich. See, this is the new thing now. It's one thing to have a head coach on the sidelines who's got great pedigree and great experience and great knowledge and has done it. But it's another thing when the players get on the court and they're looking at a coach that can still get on the court in practice and say, hey, this is how I want it done. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to build this program from scratch and we're going to do it together. Johnnie Bryant fits that mold. And yes, I do believe they're looking for a young, up-and-coming, energetic coach that can relate to the players. And most importantly, and I have to say this, Rich, the new era of basketball, they need to understand it, right? Some of these older coaches, and this is no knock or disrespect to anyone, but some of these older coaches, they came up in a different era, and sometimes those principles, you just can't get rid of them. This new era of basketball requires a new way of looking at the game of basketball, and that's why I think a young coach is the way to go here. And again, Johnnie Bryant will fit that mold tremendously. So you nailed it, man. They're looking for a guy that can come in right now, a young coach that can get it done.
All right, we're talking to Felix Cruz, my brother from another mother, a.k.a. Flex from Jersey, an excellent source, a wealth of knowledge. And, you know, we got about, 3-4 minutes left, but I want to talk about when can we expect a decision, because the NBA draft is about a month away. I mean, I would think they would want a guy that's in place, that's aligned, right, with what the Suns want to do before you start drafting guys that you also want to be aligned with your mission.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very important. You have to do it. It's part of the architecture of building a basketball team. You have to have your front office in line, and you want to have your coach in the room evaluating and watching these workouts and saying, yeah, that's a guy that can work with me. This is why. This is what I can do with him on defense. This is what I can do on offense. So it's very important. to answer your question, things are moving. This week is a very important week. They're getting to it. They're getting busy. I'm going to tread lightly because I want to respect the connections and the relationships I have. But I can tell you that this week is very important, and they're getting to it, and they're doing these interviews. And I wouldn't be shocked if we have a decision on the new head coach before the end of the month. Maybe it bleeds in a couple days into June, but I'm under the impression that they're sticking and moving here. They got the pedal to the metal, and I would think in the next week or two, there's a very good chance we have a new coach here in Phoenix.
I kind of like Chris Quinn as well over in Miami. You know, he's Eric Spoelstra's guy. He's only 41 as well. But, you know, I like the Bryant decision too because he's a guy that's, like we mentioned, young, energetic, can also deal with superstars because you have to be able to, you know, evaluate talent, but also deal with egos, right? And make sure everybody's happy and know how to motivate certain guys and be a leader of men. He was a point guard. It's funny because point guards are kind of like catchers in baseball. They're good managers because they know how to see the whole field,
That's right.
see the court, know who to feed, know who's got the hot hand, and so on and so forth. So it seems like the Suns are definitely doing their due diligence this time around. They're taking their time. And, of course, Flex, I want to thank you, right, for taking your time to talk to us. So you go with Johnnie Bryant. Anybody that could kind of sneak in, we got about a minute left. Anybody that could sneak in if Johnnie Bryant's not the guy?
Yeah, you named it, Chris Quinn. I mean, my favorite coach right now, currently in the NBA, is Eric Spoelstra. Love him to death. Think he's incredible. Quinn's been there the whole time. So Quinn is a guy to keep an eye on. James Borrego, a guy that I think got a little bit of a bad rap, ended well in Charlotte, got them, I think, 3-4 games over 500 before his last season. Has been around the block a couple times, but I think James Borrego is a great basketball mind and deserves a good shot. So, and the last guy I'll throw out there is Micah Nori. Micah Nori with the Timberwolves. Keep an eye on him. He's another very good candidate. A lot of good guys on this list, but, you know, they got to get this right. Rich, they got to get this right.
Yeah, right. Third time has to be the charm. Yeah, I like Borrego too. And Nori did a great job when he got, you know, thrown into the fire, you know, in the playoffs. So he could get the job done. We know that. And of course, we'll keep our eyes peeled and we'll keep you posted. And of course, once again, Flex, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you, man. You're the best. Well, I know you're a busy guy. We'll check back in with you once the decision is made. The draft is coming. It's going to be a lot of Sun stuff to talk about. They got a couple picks, but you're the best. I appreciate your wealth of knowledge and your time. And I want to thank everybody out there also for tuning in because, you know, we're going to keep talking, right? It's Fox 10 Talk Sports. You know me, I'm going to keep talking, so I hope you keep watching. And we appreciate your time. And we'll be back next week, every Wednesday,